All right, what's going on to all fixed blade knife enthusiasts out there? What's up to all you outdoorsmen? You know who you are. Wanted to show off both the Puzon models. You have the 9-inch and you have the 7-inch. The Work Tough Gear Puzon Wilderness Warrior blades have been very popular with this company. I believe this is the third generation that they came out with. That just goes to show how much that the customers really like it. So I kind of dug into the pocket a bit and got both of them. Actually, my wife helped me out with this one because she's awesome. And then I treated myself to this one because I was actually really sick and I wanted to just make myself feel better, right? So this, the 9 actually does not have the choil, and I guess I don't care about that. I wish it had the same thing, but oh well. Anyway, the handles are actually both the same. There's nothing different between the 9 and the 7. And I'll get into when I start talking about the 7 later. The handle is absolutely extremely comfortable, by the way. In fact, here's the thing. Let me stop myself and talk about some basic little facts. The 9-inch version weighs by itself 27.4 ounces. The 7 version weighs 19.5, almost 20 ounces for the 7-inch. Anyway, I wanted to give you differences when it came to the weight. However, though, with the 9, the weight is so forward, it is just an absolute chopping beast. It is one of the most heaviest, craziest choppers I have in my collection. In fact, I think this is actually the heaviest knife I have in my entire collection. I gotta look up what that one primal knife is that I keep posting on my channel. I'm not sure if that's the heaviest one yet, but I'm pretty sure this one is now officially the heaviest one. And because all that weight is forward, therefore when you are chopping, my gosh, it just smashes through wood like no other. Came with an absolute razor sharp blade. Both knives, by the way, are SK85 steel. Some people have a problem with that. I don't, because when you use your knives, they are going to dull no matter what. And these are both high carbon versus the stainless steels that Work Tough Gear has been coming out with lately. SK85, like I said, is totally fine by me. Just make sure it doesn't, stay wet, and possibly oil it. I don't oil my blades, and they stay just fine. Again, go back to the handles though. Handle is extremely comfortable. One thing that's interesting though, it's not a deal breaker. This hook here, I'm not sure what people call it, horn or hook. If you are doing long-term chopping, if you're chopping very heavy with this is not a hot spot. But the thing is, your pinky will get very tired. So you have to change up your grip. You have to maybe grip it differently or what have you. This makes it very easy to pull it out of the sheath for sure. It really does. However, this hook part right here, again, it's not a hot spot, but chopping away all day, my pinky does get a little bit tired from that. It's not a deal breaker because part of me rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. The one thing I wish it did have though was a lanyard hold. Both these knives don't have lanyard holds. I don't know why. Maybe one day if I get a drill press, maybe I'll make my own lanyard hold. Another thing is there's no end. Well, I don't want to call it an end cap. But definitely on the 7-inch version, I wish it had. Some people call it a skull crusher. I call them impact tools. This is where a little bit, piece of metal is kind of sticking out, so you can, instead of using your tip, you can use the impact tool for that. This design just doesn't have it, and it is what it is. I do once again like that type of figure 8, whatever this type of ergonomic style is called, where it kind of goes, gets thicker in the middle, then gets thinner towards the pinky. That's what I like. That's what my hands feel more comfortable using. There's no jimping because it doesn't need it. I'm not a fan of jimping anyway. Work Tough Gear, again, they know their customers. They know that they want to use ferrocerium rods or fire stick or fire rods, whatever. So they always give you a very nice, sharp 90-degree angle spine. Goes down to a classic Bowie tip. Bowie knives are one of my more favorite designs. I always think that the clip point is very useful. Let's see, the tip is actually pretty stout. It's not too bad. I am a bit cautious with thinner blades because I have broken tips before. We're not talking about prying open ammo cans or that kind of stuff, but just basic camp tasks. Oh, I got hiccups. Every time I do a video, I always have hiccups. But nevertheless, the tip is very nice. The blade is absolutely a razor, like I've talked about before. Work Tough Gear does a great job. You can tell based on how I've been using it, how this is definitely where the chopping workhorse is. Right there is where all that wood's coming into contact with. This up here is still a razor. This particular one that was selected, here's the funny part. I was at the gym and I told her, hey, order me whatever one that you can get your hands on. And She said that this rustic look one was the only one that was left, and she was actually on the website at 6 p.m. ready to go. And I told her which one I wanted. That one just wasn't, so I said, "Hey, just get whatever one you can order." And she was lucky enough to give me this one. I'm not sure if the camera is picking this up, but it has these kind of like acidy, rustic look to it. Frankly, I don't care. And here's the funny part: because it's already ugly, it makes me not scared to use it. There are some of my knives that they look so nice. It's like it makes me scared to use them because of chipping them and grinding them and whatnot. But because of just how grungy this knife looks, it makes me, again, I'm not scared to use this thing in the field. Absolute chopping, just what a heck of a freaking beast of a knife. Let's see, but unfortunately, so with the sheath. Actually, where's the sheath? The sheath is up here. So one thing I was kind of critical about this, hopefully I can get this in the camera shot. They gave you this type of Kydex panel here with the belt loop and whatnot, but this is the first time I've experienced this with Worktip gear. Normally their sheaths are just absolutely 10 out of 10, which, by the way, the actual sheath itself is totally fine. I have no complaint about it, but their attachments are a little odd. And here's what I don't understand. If you are going to make a what's called pancake, you have taco style and then you have flat pancake. This is a pancake style sheath. If you're going to give your customers a pancake sheath, don't give them this type of awkward panel. It was kind of weird for me to try to figure this out. Instead, what I was hoping was that this plastic panel will go all the way across, so that way it's way more flat up against the sheath. It makes it easier to wear it and whatnot. But instead, I was forced to really tighten down these rubber washers with the screws, and I don't know what you want to call them. Why, yeah, rubber washers. Anyway, but at least I was able to get the belt loop attached to it. And wearing an extremely heavy knife like this on your belt is very cumbersome. It is something that you don't want to wear all day. But if you did, this is also what I did. It came with straps, and that just, again, it doesn't make sense. These straps are only big enough to go around these loops, but they're not big enough to go around your thigh as you would think you would. Maybe those straps were designed to be strapped around your pack, and maybe the idea was that you strap this knife to your pack, and then when you're actually at camp, then you can just wear it here. But that thing is going to be flopping around your back or on your thigh, and it's not comfortable. Instead, what I did was I once again found another, what is this, about 1 inch webbing, and cutted it. I used the buckle that it came with. This was pulled off of some tactical pouch that I had that I wasn't using, and I realized, hey, when I set it up just right and this thing's on my inner thigh, this is actually very much, it's very secure. I still would not want to, I'm not going to hike 10 miles with this thing on my hip all day and attached to my belt. It's just too heavy. It's just too cumbersome. However, if I had to walk maybe a mile or so, then yeah, then having that type of setup is what I would do. So then the seven, I'm not sure when it came out, which one came first, but I realized, I want the 7 as well. People seem to really like the 7-inch version, and I had to see what all the hype was about. And here's the funny thing. I'm actually quite 50-50 on a lot of things about the 7. So the knife, the actual design on the blade is just spot on. It is a great design blade. The complaint is actually in the handle. The reason why is, once again, it's the same handle as the 9. And what happens is it's kind of a two-way double-edged sword. The balance on it is absolutely just perfect. Like in terms of, where a lot of people want. For me, based on just outdoor tasks and whatnot, I want more weight towards the blade, so it helps me out with the chopping. And as a result, yes, this is a 7-inch blade, but because there's so much weight back here, pretty much all my chopping tests that I did in my backyard and whatnot, how do I say this nicely? It just doesn't chop as well as I wanted to. It does chop, don't get me wrong. It will chop just fine, but it just doesn't chop as good as other blades of this size. Because, once again, the balance is just so in the middle. As a result, you have to hold it way back here if you want to get some real hard chopping capabilities. The other pros, though, is because it's so balanced in the middle, this makes this a very nice cutter. For wood processing, for slicing, for cutting purposes, this knife is excellent for that type of roll. I believe, I might get this wrong. I don't think it's a hollow grind. I think it is a saber grind followed by a convex edge. Both of them have convex edges. All of Worktip gear comes with that. But this type of blade, based on the thickness of it, and let me stop myself again, this is almost 1/4 of an inch thick. I believe this one's more closer to 1/8 of an inch thick. So you do have a thinner blade in that manner as well. But the handle, once again, maybe this is just me, I'm just one person's opinion online, maybe hollow this out a little bit more, that we can get more weight towards this side. I don't really care for the finger choil, and here's a very interesting aspect. Let's see if the camera can pick this up. I'm not sure if it's going to pick it up, but on 2 Work Tuff Gear knives, the corner here from this choil is so dang sharp. I have nicked myself twice on my other knives. I think one of them was the oh gosh, you know what? One of them was the Commander, and then the other one was I don't I don't want to ramble too much, but I pretty much have nicked myself really bad. And this one, what they did was, yeah, I'm not sure the camera's gonna pick it up. Maybe up here, the camera. I'm sorry, they actually filed down this corner. They filed it down, and I've even not. I don't want to say I tried to cut myself, but I even tried to see if this was going to be a factor here, and it actually wasn't. So I wonder if that's from them listening to customers or what. But just what a smart idea, just to knock that little corner down. That was a big factor, because when we're working in the field, we're not paying attention to, oh, let me make sure my finger just avoids that sharp little corner. Sometimes you're working so fast, you're not looking, you look down, and all you want to do is just grip it so you can make some quick cuts. But the thing is, again, it's such a small little tiny detail that I'm glad Work Tuff Gear actually pretty much has implemented there. So here is a really big question. Which one would I take? Oh my gosh. What's my scenario? I don't know. Actually, let me stop myself again. I keep doing that every time an idea pops in. So here's a problem with the 7. Again, going back to the weight of the handle. So here it is in the sheath. The sheath is just fine. The problem is, oh yeah, by the way, they give me that stupid thing again with that panel. So I don't like that again. Because, maybe I might have to actually hold the camera up on this one. Because, actually no, I can do it here. Normally you want the knife to hang like this. You want the belt loop to be on your belt, and you want the knife to hang freely like this. Watch what happens when I just let my hand go of the handle. It falls evenly. So this will be like this on your belt. And this part is going to be smacking up against your leg every time you take a step, every time you jump over a log, every time you step down from a rock. This part will be smacking up against your leg. The only way you can fix that is by getting paracord and lashing it to your thigh if you wish to do so. Part of me doesn't like that. I mean, for 6 and 7 inch blades, I do try to avoid using lanyards or paracord or some kind of strap to my leg. Unless it's a bigger knife, I try to avoid doing that just because it's just more of a hassle. However, once again, because of the weight of this handle, look how it just hangs evenly. So once again, to make myself repeat again, if you wish to not do that, then you have to, again, figure out some way to lash it to your thigh. But going back to the last question, if I really had to choose just one of them, I have no idea. I'm sorry. I wish I could give you an opinion. Obviously, if I was camping, I'd probably go with this one. If I was rucking it on a rucksack all day and I had to carry other items, I'd be carrying this one. The other thing that's sad about this one is if I was going to go with this size, there are other knives that I have that can chop better than this one. Yes, this one can cut all day. Tip is wicked, by the way. Very sharp tip. Yeah, I'm kind of torn about the 7. Don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely happy to have it in my collection. I will absolutely find a job to do it because it has that dark coating to it. It's got a black handle. It already looks rough as it is. Therefore, I don't care if I get it messed up or not. But yeah, I'm not really sure. The 9 is definitely, oh my gosh, it's so nice to be chopping through wood with this thing. Just wood doesn't stand a chance with this one. Gosh, I'm trying to give you one opinion. I would probably take the 7. If I had to really pick the 2, I'd probably pick the 7 just because I have more control over it. Yes, I can do more different types of rolls with it. It does chop decently. It cuts like a beast, and I can just transport it better. This one, my gosh, man. yeah, this one is just an absolute tank. So with that, like what I always do in my videos, what always happens is I always forget some other things, but read the description down below, and hopefully I can leave some notes. If you have any questions, by all means, drop it in the comment section. And to anyone who has actually watched this, thank you for watching.